Welcome to Steel Curtain Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe and share it with your friends and family members. Thank you to my followers and listeners. Again, I appreciate your support as we've built an integral channel here, a little slower in the summer months, or after the seasons, but we tend to have, uh, um, we follow by standing by, not jumping on all the rumors that are out there. We kind of avoid that, and we don't jump on clickbait. Um, I'd rather have. I'm just kind of firm with that. I'm not into the gossipy end of it things. I rather uh, discuss factual information as it falls. All right, and if you come across the channel, please don't leave without subscribing and hitting the likes. And a quick ad or uh, contracting in HRM. That's uh, Dart, Dartmouth, Halifax, Bedford, Sackville, Nova Scotia, all Nova Scotia basically, uh, or contracting. They cover all sorts of projects, as this is the time of year when people tend to get renovations done. Whether you're building a new home, you're building, redoing a deck, you have bricklaying, landscaping. They cover all these different fields, roofing. Contact the gentleman in the ad on the front of the page, Glenn Thomas. Very honest man, and they give good quality work. You can go on that page and see some of the work that they've done, different projects. And he's a very honest man, know him quite well. And they do quality work and at reasonable price. So just use the user code Andrew so that they know I sent you. All right, let's get down to it. This is just a special video made, just updating after as we're watching this off season as the chaos continues in Steelland. And I'm sorry, I'm not one of these guys that is all excited. Yes, I have no doubt. I'm not questioning Jalen Ramsey's talent. We know he has the talent. There's no doubt. What I'm questioning is, and I don't like it, it's the loyalty factor. I really appreciated who Minka was. And seeing that trade done, it's starting to it makes me pose the question that I'm going to pose to all the fans here. What's going on in Steelland? We've been having problems ever since way back with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. And so this puts the focus on, as we said, Tomlin, but Khan as well, in the way the draft's been done, and maybe the leash being too long on Tomlin. He's definitely a player's coach, but as we're finding out from many players in the past and present that have gone to other teams, he tends to have his choices who get a bit of special treatment. So that doesn't sit well with me. um, Also, I mean, like I said, for as talented and as winning of a coach as he is, I like Mike Tomlin. Don't get me wrong. I just think there's a problem in this, and whether I think what I'm trying to drive at is there's two question marks here, and I would have to say, is it the way the Steelers are drafting, or is this the new NFL, or is this coaching? It's kind of a three pronged situation here that makes you question it. And I think Mr. Rooney's got a serious dilemma on his hand because Tomlin is good of a coach. It's great that you can have a winning record and get to the playoffs all these years, but it's not. He's had a team in the early stages up until when Ben left that there should have been more Super Bowls from any other. I think any other superior coach would have cashed in on a team like that. But it also, as I just mentioned, alleviates why are we having so many cultural issues in the locker room? And it's a huge problem here. And I'm questioning now the loyalty because Minka seemed to be a good team guy, as good as bringing in Jalen Ramsey is. That's great and dandy, but are we turning our? Is this becoming a thing that we're not showing any loyalty to any players? Because it's starting to look that way. Same thing with Watts. We've heard this, and that's why I don't get into rumor land. But the swirling and the situation of his contract still not being done. The thought of rumors of trading him. Either I like what TJ Watt, and it makes me question: is this just the new NFL players that they're uncoachable? That's I really got a question, or is it the lack of loyalty from the way Pittsburgh's running right now? Since Tomlin's been there and since Khan's taken over, I really got a question, and I think Mr. Rooney's got to address it because I think everybody's all pumped up. Oh yeah, we got a great player like Ramsey. That's great and dandy. But when we got good quality players like Minka seem to be and Watt seems to be the good leaders, if they are so, or there cultural stuff we don't know about them. But if that's like I say, if that's not the case and they're good leaders, why are we turning? Pittsburgh was never that way, where they turned their back on their top players that showed good leadership. So I got a problem with that. And that's why we're calling it is a whirlwind in Pittsburgh. And then they're screwing themselves. We've seen more recent updates. I mean, they're trying to sit there and take advantage of it, which I think is a huge mistake. And I've made it clear that you're moving on to, we're going to be in the Aaron Rodgers years. And I think it was a big mistake moving on from Russell Wilson and Fields. That's my opinion. I think we're going to pay for it. And even if we get into the upper echelon of making the playoffs like we seem to have managed to do, but just can't win in the playoffs, what is the point? It's quite clear we're seeing new reports that the Steelers are in big trouble trying to find that um, future quarterback in the drafts. And all we're doing is shooting ourselves in the foot by making these moves. If it's just to alleviate, a season's pain, should you not try to be in a position of better placement of what you really are? We know they're a good team. They were. I don't know the way. There's so much has changed in personnel now that I have no idea anymore. I just see a hot mess, and I see a lack of loyalty. I see cultural problem. I don't know what it is. Is it the coaching staff? Is it And I see it as a shared issue. And then my question mark becomes: is this the new NFL player that there's no more accountability and they just run loose like loose cannons? But at the same token, I question it towards the coaching staff and the management and ownership. Or is it a cultural problem? Is it a drafting problem? Because there's a lot leaning to that. We get these high quality players and that we ended up shipping them out. That's not a good sign to me. Either either that's showing that the new NFL player is out of control, really, with the mentality of thinking they're just above and beyond, and the coach has got to kiss their tush, and that's not a great attitude. If that's the case, that's something that the league's got to address with Roger Goodell. So I'm not going to be your typical Steeler podcast that's going to go, oh yes, this is my team. I love this team, but I'm that objective view. When I see our team going in a bad direction or out of control, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to go along with decisions I think are bad moves. Like I just don't know how. Minka seemed to be a team player, and I don't think you loyalty wise turn your back on a guy and send him right back to where he had a problem in Miami. That's almost a slap in the face. And if you're dumb enough that if Watt is a good leader and you're talking about trading him and all this difficulty with his contract, you're showing clearly you have no loyalty to your players anymore. That ain't a good sign either. Keep doing that and you're not going to have anybody want to play here. So, Mr. Rooney, I would address you. You need to fix this or get to the bottom of it. And if it is the new version, because it seems like we know in pro sports things have gotten way out of hand with these professional athletes uh, being almost to a point where you can't, they're almost uncoachable because, oh, if you say the wrong thing, the coaches pay the price. However, you occasionally get, like us, a coach that has a winning record, but either way, he's let the locker room run rampant, and that seems to be why we're having this turnover. That's what I'm deflecting. He can be a good coach. I like Mike Tomlin, don't get me wrong, but I think there's parts of his coaching that doesn't thrill me. And I think you have to have control of your locker room. And I don't think you should be playing the favoritism bell. And when guys need to be put in check, you place them in check. So and I think GMs, and that's why I put this one on con, need to keep their coaching staff and players, the whole darn thing, in control and set a stone. And hey, no, we're calling the shot on who we bring in and bring out. We'll take some of your advice lightly, and weigh that out. But we want you to coach, and we're going to evaluate how you coach. And if the culture's bad, something's got to change, and a big change. I mean, I think this, in my opinion, the Steelers were in a situation they had a good team. They needed a retool, not a rebuild. But the way they blew this up this year, you made a mess of this. This to me is a bloody mess, and I'm starting to question. I was always questioning the culture for since Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. The culture's been a problem ever since those two guys. Um, and you just say, is it just culture? But now you start to have to think this has gone on a long time, and this has got to. I think you got to put it to the final straw, Mr. Rooney. He has total control. This is his team. So if management is failing, the new management, which I got a lot of question marks for Khan, he just seems to have Tomlin overly involved, and I question some of his moves. And why are we losing the players that he's drafting immediately that have all the superior talent? I think I've said it over and over again. I don't know why we allowed our number two wide receiver to be gone. That's beyond my mind. Pickens. I know. Okay, so maybe he had a bit of an attitude, but it almost seems like uh, that seems to be wildfire. So why would you just get rid of Harris? Why those type of guys? It's not lining up right. It's sending a bad message. And then when you get core guys like Watt, and I thought Minka was a part of that, and then there's no loyalty being shown. You can't treat, um, like I say, maybe the problem is a Goodell problem where they got to start putting, something in play that the players, because these athletes have gone nuts and think they're just all that in a bag of chips. Maybe there has to be some type of thing that the GMs put in place that so that you can coach these guys and change the mentality in the sport if you have to. But at the same token, as ownership, you got to take a look. Things haven't been so good. Um, I'm sorry to say that with Khan's dealings, Tomlin's leash has been far too long and problematic. I don't care if he's a winning coach. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. I want that mentality, and it'd be nice to see a good culture. If you don't have good cultures in the locker room and you show and loyalty to going both ways to your players so that there's a respect, you got a big problem and a mess. I've been in locker rooms when I played, and without that, you got chaos. So for me, I'm going to put it straight out. Sorry, fans. Tell me your opinion on what you see going on with the Steelers. I think it's a hot mess. I project, okay, we may get in the playoffs. I don't know. That AFC is tough. I still think we're the worst team in the AFC right now. I know they're pumping up our defense. Our defense does always seem to be one of the better ones. I just think the team overall is messier than the rest of the teams in the AFC. I think there's more cordial and cultural things that are better, other than the Browns seem to have major issues culturally as well. So I think this goes to Mr. Rooney. What are you doing? What are you allowing to happen here? And what do you, as Steelers fan, thinks? I mean, I see so many podcasts pumping up that we got Jalen Ramsey. That's great. No, I'm not questioning his talent. I'm questioning why was Minka traded in the sense that he seemed to be one of our good leaders, and then you send him back to the team where he had so many problems with, which I'm thinking he's probably not too happy about. Your loyalty is not there, and it's starting to show all over the place. I mean, the amount of players that are getting shipped in and out that are new draftees a year or two, and they're gone. This is starting to get kind of scary, and you got between a cultural problem and a loyalty problem. Again, I think this is where time's got to be. There's got to be accountability for the coaching staff as well and the players, um, and management. Management is now showing that they've drafted these super talented players that just keep getting traded off. That's telling you there's something flawed in your drafting. And then coaching. We know Mike Tomlin is got different ways that's I think that's what's ruined his opportunities. Yeah, he might have a winning 18, 19-year record of getting them into the playoffs. That's neither here nor there when you can't win a playoff game. And you got great talented players that come in and they end up having to get shipped out after you've drafted them so highly. A lot of number one picks. There's a problem. There's a cultural loyalty, coaching, management problem right through. So what I was saying, we were in a state of a retool. This almost looks like the Steelers have blown it up, and you almost need a rebuild. Sorry, you can't avoid it. And if you want, you're not going to get that quarterback. We're seeing the reports now that they're putting themselves in a pickle to getting that future star quarterback. Yeah, you are. By trying to just skim into the playoffs, you're ruining your positioning. Take a season where you are who you are and you fall down, or I should say, up the draft list, and you can get yourself that quarterback, and that changes everything. But you've got a mess here, and I'm sorry. I love my Steelers since I was ever a little boy. And what I see here, I got to call it what it is. Give our fans the reality check. Mr. Rooney, it's a call out. What the hell is going on? And you got to make a move because something is severely wrong in Steel Land. So thank you for watching. You've seen it here at Steel Curtain Productions, and hopefully they know something I don't know. Or, but like I say, we got to stop shooting our foot and just getting into the playoffs and having that mentality and screwing ourselves out of a top ranking quarterback because we absolutely need it. All right. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends and family, share it, and let me know your comments. Keep it respectable. That's one thing we've built this channel on, being able to talk to each other respectfully. But I cannot be a podcast that pumps up when I see a lot. They're pumping up on loyalties just on talents, and they're following talents over loyalty and culture. And I'm not buying it. What the Steelers are selling. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts. God bless. Catch you in the next episode. Go Steelers, go. Go Steelers Nation.